All right, this is cool. We are going to welcome another guest to our studio, and if you haven't had a chance to go about and hear some of the stories in our historic city, especially around this time of year, then you're missing out on a really cool thing. Grim Philly Twilight Tours is what we're talking about, and we would like to welcome Joe Wojie to the studio this morning.
This is great for having me on. Thank you.
You bet, man. How you doing, Joe?
Awesome, man.
Excellent. All right, so you guys have a lot of tours, and you're working. It's 7 days a week, right?
It's 7 days a week. It's all year round. We have wicked awesome tours. I'm a college history professor, and I kind of hit it from that angle, right? So we've got other professors. We got cool people working for us that they're very well-researched tours. They're all year round, but they're adult-oriented.
Okay.
Some of them have drinks involved. Some of them have little bits of ghost kind of involved as well.
So there are things that are it's more for you're not bringing your kids out to this. This is something where it's, and not because it's pornographic or anything. It's just the material and all the stuff is geared more towards adults.
We have a lot more fun with the adult audience because you have to hold back. If there's kids in the audience, you can't curse. You can't sort of get into the sexual topics that we do. We hit serial killers. I think there's like 12 different tours altogether. There's a ghost ship river tour that we do. It's a little grittier than you would expect on the average sort of tour that you would take. So we can't really be pigeonholed as like a ghost tour necessarily.
Okay.
I love that, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the titles of some of the tours, like there's serial killers, cemetery, and grave robbers, ghosts, and graveyards. Messed up, bizarre criminals and things like that are all involved in this as well.
It's some crazy stuff, and you get a lot of the traditional stuff kind of mixed into it. So we try to find all the best cool stuff about, like, let's say, like the founding fathers, Ben Franklin, Ben Franklin's mistresses, Ben Franklin's beer brewing, the bodies found under his home at 37 Craven Street in 1998, for example. It's
there's a bit of an underside, an underbelly to any piece of history, and actually, it kind of makes absorbing the actual aspects of history a lot more interesting when you find out the complete picture.
Exactly.
Right.
These aren't the things that necessarily moved nations and affected the world to turn. These are like the low-level kind of socioeconomic things between like people. You know? That's the cool stuff, though. That's the thing that people are more interested in. It's entertainment.
Concerning the serial killers in this area, were there... How many serial killer sites are visited, and who are these serial killers?
Well, we do it where it's safe. We don't actually go where the serial killings happen, because that would be up in North Philly for the most part. Okay? In the 1980s, we've got like 3 serial killers in the 1980s, but a lot of people don't realize H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, started in Philadelphia.
All right.
Yeah!
USA, right?
So what year was that?
H.H. Holmes, that would have been, he killed Ben Peitzel. That would have been before he constructed that Hotel of Horrors out there in Chicago in 1888. So that would have been in the 1880s, early 1880s here.
Wow. So we're acknowledged as the first documented serial killer origin point.
Absolutely. And we actually executed him here as well in the Moy-Mensing prison, where it is an Acme parking lot today, but the face of the city has changed a little bit.
It was a good, 15 years ago, we took a tour of the city, a nighttime haunted tour, and while the stories of ghosts and things like that are interesting, I found a lot of the most fascinating stuff of the stories of, this particular person was a socialite who lived here and was regularly intertwined with the politics of the day, and, that side of it as well. And I'm sure you guys explore tons of that.
Well, the thing is, I think when I put this stuff together, my wife and I would go hit different cities and take these ghost tours. We're night owls, and I'd be looking for history out of this stuff. So we'd hit these tours. Some of them were like, they're not very good.
There was one. I went to one, and I can agree completely, because my wife and I will do the same thing. We scare up these tours, no pun intended. And in Boston, it stunk. It was terrible. a city with a history as rich as ours. And I'm like, man, this blows.
Well, I look at it like a lesson plan, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a professor, so this is like one lesson plan. Man, you do this over and over, it should be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no reason a tour guide shouldn't be great at what they're doing. And I put it together from that perspective to do all the cool, gritty stuff.
Yeah.
The more interesting things. So I put a little light sprinkling of ghosts in there. But, I mean, serial killers, you can document that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Ben Franklin, you can document those cool things about him. You could document all of these historical things, whereas, like, a college professor, it's kind of like a nightmare to try to read the books on ghosts as well.
Right.
They're not as well put together. The people are not necessarily citing stuff. And then it's very difficult to kind of give empirical evidence on that stuff anyway.
Right.
So it's more difficult.
There's enough of the gritty, edgier stuff to fuel a number of these tours.
Oh, that's what it's fueled by, essentially.
Okay.
So, Joe, let's say I sign up going on a tour. How long are we talking? How far are we walking?
Oh, God, we have a bunch of different tours, right? Okay. So they range anywhere from a 90-minute boat tour to a 3.5-hour pub crawl.
Wow. Okay.
Pub crawl.
The pub crawls we do this whole thing where we got history for like an hour up front, and then we intersperse a little bit with drinking. We try to make those tours a little bigger so people get to know each other. You have some drinks, you have some food, you get to know people, you bring some old friends, you make some new friends, and it's cool.
So if I didn't go on the pub crawl tour and went on a different one, you wouldn't have objections to a flask being inside my jacket pocket, would you?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
All right, fair enough. I like that answer. Now, you guys do also, I was reading, you do have some family options as well that are available.
We do not sell as many of those tickets. To be honest, we tried that this year. We had 3 different family options this year. You know who showed up? Adults.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't used to taking our tours.
Okay. And these are all done at night?
They are almost exclusively done at night. The serial killer tour is actually the earliest one, which is at 2 o'clock, because we coordinate with Christ Church and we go inside their burial ground and they lock it up, and we have to be in and out of there before they do that.
How many stops on that again? On the serial killer?
A bunch. The serial killer tour, we go to Elfress Alley, we hit the Betsy Ross house, we hit Christ Church, we hit Christ Church burial ground. We will stop at the end. We usually go to JJ Bootlegger's Moonshine Bar. Great bar. Get some food and some drinks there at the end, just to kind of wrap up and everybody can talk. That's one of our fact pack tours, though. That's about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And you get traditional Philly sites mixed with a little bit of serial killers.
Right.
How far from Old City does the history extend, for stuff that you guys are concerning? Like, does it go past Broad Street, or is it mostly all confined to the Old City neighborhoods?
Well, when Willie Penn moved here, you're looking at like, God, man, maybe like 2,000 people were here when he moved here, right? So the city doesn't actually even grow up to the Schuylkill River until like the 1830s.
Oh, wow.
You know? So most of the real old, like the colonial stuff, you're looking at like, it doesn't extend past 6th Street. 7th Street, when Thomas Jefferson penned the Declaration there, that was the outskirts. That was like the sticks.
That was West Philly.
Yeah.
Huh.
7th Street was West Philly back in the day.
Well, that was West Philly. Well, yeah, it was West Philly back then, exactly.
Wow.
So the latest, are you up to date with all your murders? Like, so the latest murder on Elfress Alley, I believe, was Hitchbot. Is that part of your tour?
No.
Wow.
It's cool. It's one thing you do know, just in taking just the peripheral tours around here. There's so much rich, incredible history here. To live here and not access it and find out some of this cool stuff is just a waste.
And these tours, by the way, I was reading, have won best city tour in Philly every year since it's been around.
We've won best ghost tour, and God, there's a bunch of different lists that people keep. But on TripAdvisor, we're best ghost tour. The Culturist ranked us the best one in the country, actually. And God, can't even remember the different lists. There's a bunch of different places that we've won.
You're doing it right.
There's a text came in and said, I took the serial killers tour last year. It was awesome. They were so nice and knowledgeable, and our tour guide was so much fun. You will occasionally lead tours, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite one to do on a personal note?
I love them all. That's like asking me to pick between my kids. I like the wintertime tours, to be honest. We do these things in the wintertime. And they're a little lighter attended because people think of like, oh, you're going outside. No, man, we stay in the bars where it's nice and warm. The warm embrace of the bars and food and drinks. And we talk about so we don't actually hit as many like outdoor spots where sightseeing, would sort of take place. But we do, we go into like Zento or Han Dynasty bootleggers, and we stay inside of restaurants. We stay inside of bars, and we drink and we talk.
So if you're into history and a raging alcoholic, that's what you need to check into.
It's perfect.
Yeah, there we
go. So what's the best way for people to get tickets to one?
Well, grimphilly.com is our website. You could email us at info@grimphilly.com, or you can give us a call,
How far in advance do you need to book?
Oh, God, this time of year, some of the tours are already packed up.
Yeah.
I mean, we run them, like I said, every day, and we probably have 10 different ones that run every Saturday. So it just depends what you want. You go to the calendar, you check it out. We have all these different options, and just pick one. If one's closed out, you can always get another one, but you could definitely get one the same day. It just may not be the exact one that you want.
And then another question, how many people are usually in a group?
We have anywhere between like 8 people and, God, like close to 40 people.
Okay, all right, good size tours.
Oktoberfest.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, nice work, Joe. Thanks, man. Well, I'll definitely come and take one sometime.
Yes.
I'd love to do that.
Preston, I'd love to have you on.
Wonderful. Joe Wojie, guys, grimphilly.com and the Twilight Tours. That's something, and it's year-round. It's not just this time of year. It's 365 days a year, so you can get on board with that. All right, we need to take another break, and yes, we will do that very thing. Come back in a second. The lesson question awaits you, so don't go too far. We'll be right back.